Well, I'll tell you what, an interesting week last week. We just finished up kind of talking about the UK election and how it's going to help them get Brexit done by January 31st. And I said this year, but that'd be next year. Well, if you're counting the calendar year. If you're just counting the time passing, then it will be this year. But they'll get it done by January 31st. Then, of course, they'll have about a year of negotiation to go to set up, their trade relationship with the EU. I think we can also look forward to them setting up a good trade deal with the U.S. So I think that's coming, which will be interesting. I think we may be able to do a lot of business with the U.K. now once they're out of the EU. And maybe even some of that business will be sort of a transshipment type business where EU products and U.S. products transfer through the U.K. to the other party. So from the U.S. goes to the EU, and from the EU it goes to the U.S., but it passes through Great Britain, and that's called transshipment. And it may allow us to avoid some of the tariffs because, as much as we hear about tariffs and, it's going to ruin the economy, it's a terrible idea, President Trump, to put tariffs on everything. Well, the only thing is if you look at other countries, they have a lot of tariffs. Like the EU has a lot of tariffs on U.S. products. So everyone else has got tariffs on us. What's historically been the case is we haven't put any tariffs on anybody for many, many years. So, and President Trump has changed all that. And I think you've seen some positive outcomes in some of the trade disputes. I mean, in other words, he's reworked NAFTA now to the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement. And, that's in the process of being passed, we understand. And so, I think a lot of positive things have come out of this. And there's the Phase 1 China trade deal, which a lot of the people in the news media are saying is not a deal, is not well done, etc. You've got to understand the leverage game that President Trump is playing with China. We're not giving up much in the Phase 1 deal. If the Phase 1 deal, as supposedly negotiated, does go through, then the Chinese are going to have to purchase $40 or $50 billion of our agricultural products all at once. And these are things that they need. Now, they're trying to develop sources outside the United States so they're not so reliant on our agriculture, but they haven't got that fully in place yet, so they still need our agriculture products. And, of course, that would be good for our farmers right now.
Rice has already been going in there.
Well, a lot of things go in there, absolutely.
I was surprised to see rice, though.
Trade is ongoing. It's not like trade's come to a complete halt. Trade is ongoing. And just remember, the Chinese are just paying the tariffs. They're paying the tariffs largely on behalf of their businesses. So this Phase 1 deal, really, we don't give up much. Yes, we're not going to put additional tariffs that were scheduled to go on December 15th. Those are not going to go on, but those can go on at any point. I mean, the Phase 1 of the deal is just step one. It's not the full deal. And President Trump does want to do the full deal, but this is sort of giving China a little bit of an opportunity possibly to save some face. And you know how important that is in China and the Far East. The idea of the face saving, the idea of culture, the idea of failing being associated with being bad is part of culture. So if you fail, it's hard to come back from because it means that you're bad, you're not a good person, etc., because you failed. So for them, saving face is a big deal. It's a big part of self-esteem and how they view their personhood. And also that expands out to the country itself and the way they look at themselves in the country.
Thank you for listening to the Morgan Streetman Show. We hope you enjoyed what you heard. And if you did, please click like and subscribe to help us out. And remember that we recommend that you exercise your brain at least once a week.